Traders, welcome back to the channel, and today we're talking about sundial. Now, a lot of people have been asking, when am I looking to get in? We talked about the dollar range, which is ultimately the best time to be buying. So if you've been watching the lives every single day, I've mentioned that quite a bit, but it's looking like sundial is about to get another run to that $1.70, maybe even $2.20. I'm going to get into all the technicals here in the video, but it did receive an overall boost in value based on some news as well, and I want to go over why I don't think that's that important. But the technicals look very, very strong as we see the market recovering, so stay tuned for that content. But before we get into it, I need you to do a few things. Make sure you hit that sub button down below, leave a thumbs up, and have the notifications turned on. We post videos every single day, and we go live daily as well. But let's get into the content. Okay, so what we're gonna do is go over the technicals, and then we're gonna cover a little bit of the news as well. So I'll probably start with the news just to get that out of the way, and then we can run straight through the technicals. So if you'd like, just skip ahead to that technicals just of the chart so you can see my overall view of where I see this going. As usual, this is not financial advice, so do your own due diligence. Let's get to it. Okay, so we're going to cover this just to get started. Now, this kind of goes over some of the stuff behind the company and why they were moving in the day before. Now, this isn't specifically based on sundial, just so you know. Okay, so the big news was British American Tobacco doing a deal with OGI. Now, if you know anything about OGI, they were supposed to be doing a merger supposedly with sundial, and this was kind of going to be the big news at their earnings call, and they have a lot of cash to spend on hand for sundial. If you are aware that, if you follow the live streams, I've been going over this a lot, so it's anticipated that they have a lot of news coming out. Now, the suspicion that they're going to do the deal with OGI has gone down recently, just based on they don't really line up with what they're doing, but it's looking kind of like this had a big effect on it, and it kind of pushed the stock up about 8.4% on the day. But it's worth noting the Nasdaq had a very nice recovery on that specific day, so I think this is reaching by saying this has, you know, a major part to do with what's going on there. So as you move down, you can see that sundial has seen a pretty nice spike up. It had that consolidation around that $1 range, and that was when ultimately I was very, very interested. But if you know what's going on with sundial, they need to make that big acquisition. They need to get a boost in their revenue. They need to get a boost in their overall earnings and what they're producing each month. So I do expect some big news to be coming very, very soon. However, I don't think it's going to be with OGI. Maybe it will be, but on earnings on March 17th, I kind of expect some pretty bad news to come out, because I don't think they'll have a merger specified by that date. But this is what we really want to look at. This is the overall chart on sundial. As you see, this is about the 3-hour chart too, so we're gonna have a little bit of a deeper perspective of what's going on. We had that dollar touchdown there, quickly reacting, getting back up, and overall, like I said, the Nasdaq starting to recover on that exact date as well. So there's no, you know, movement without the Nasdaq. It's still following the Nasdaq now that it's on the Nasdaq as well. It's no longer an OTC stock. It has been listed and staying on the Nasdaq. It remained above $1 for 10 days straight, you know, over 20 days, give or take now. So it's doing very, very good. So what's going on? Where do I see this going? And how's the price action looking? Well, as we look at the Nasdaq is looking very, very good. You see we had that leg down, and then we've been spiking back up, moving pretty nice in a trend back to the upside. So this leads us right back to sundial, and it's one of the most important futures. So as we look here, you can see that we're holding above this monthly level, and the monthly level, if you follow me at all, is a pretty big support. So let's break this down to about the 15-minute chart, and as you see, we're getting a retest right now. So in the live stream today, I mentioned this was a pretty good entry point. The fact that we're getting that retest of that 141, 140 range looks very, very good, and it has me very interested. But where could we go from this range? How could we move in? If you're looking and you're interested in saying, Tyler, where could I get some entries? This is just a zone that I would be entering in. I'd probably scale up just a little bit from 37, like 39, 40 range, but that's where I would look for some entries just on stock. I'm not playing options here at all. But on the upside, where do I see us going? Overall, the first target is going to be about $1.70 up to $1.75. From there, we do have a lot more room to run. From there, I think we could push about to the $2.20 range, which I have marked, and these levels have been the same for months. I have not touched them in the past few weeks, so they just continue to remain the same. I just update them on the lives periodically. So we're respecting all these key price action levels, and as we look down at the OBV, we can take a quicker look and autofill this right now, and you can see we're maintaining this very high push on the OBV. So you know, just if we go ahead and mark these key points, we're just remaining in this channel, bouncing up and down, and consolidation on the OBV is very interesting because it typically leads to massive volume. So there's a high percent chance Sundial could get a lot of hype pushed up behind it and it could get a major leg up. But I would be maintaining and watching what's going on here, because if we tend to break out of this range, I would personally immediately be exiting this position. Now, do your own due diligence. This is not financial advice, but looking at what's going on, I really like the overall consolidation, but I am watching as we consolidate at these high levels. If we do get a breakdown, I would have to exit if we break below this 35.233 million OBV. That's particularly where I am watching. This represents the overall volume, and you can check this every single day if you go over to Yahoo Finance, and you can go check over at, just type in your ticker and it'll actually show the overall volume right here. So you can go check this out for yourself, the overall volume, and see the volume that we are maintaining. And you can see that we're maintaining above 300 million every day so far. Going to be lowering down, and as you see lower, typically that's when we consolidate and we kind of flatline just for a little bit, and we are overall flatlining right now. So keep that in the back of your mind. This is looking pretty important and pretty interesting as well. So as we maintain above 1.4, I could definitely see us, and I do see us in the next week if the Nasdaq keeps its steam going, pushing to 1.7 very quick, and then 2.2 very quick as well. But the thing that could have us going very parabolic is if this gets trending on social media. So we've seen these social media stocks really start to run, and I'm not a hype stock guy at all, but looking at the price action, it looks very interesting, and we see the Nasdaq recovering very strong. But there's one thing I do want to warn people about what's going on currently and current events in the world. If you're not familiar, Joe Biden is currently going and talking with the Chinese regarding semiconductors and overall the production of them and some trade agreements. I don't think this is going to go very well. Biden administration came out and said they think that the Chinese will be unhappy with their overall demands. So it's looking like a Trump part 2, except the guy talking doesn't seem quite as crazy. But you know, Trump did pretty well with some of the Chinese trade stuff. But we'll get into that deeper later. I just hope Biden can get something resolved and actually get us a trade deal, because Trump unfortunately could not get us one of those. He just kind of kept delaying it. So we'll see what happens when we get there. But overall, I like it at 1.4, and I'm targeting 1.7, and then target 2 would be 2.2. If you have any questions, I'll be live every single night, or you can just ask down below for the first 24 hours. Okay, so Sundial, where do I see it? Do I like it? Do I think the price action looks very good? Yes. Scale of 1 to 10 short term, I think it's about a 6.5 to a 7. Looks very good. I have a lot of confidence in what's going on right now. Now, do your own due diligence. See what's going on. Going into earnings, I don't want to be holding this stock. 100%, I do not want to hold this stock through earnings. But I think running up into earnings, we could see some really nice movement. Now, they could shock and get some good news coming out on earnings, and this really start to push it. But I would always much rather get back into the stock than hold through earnings, because you're going to get a little bit of IV crush as well when it comes to options. So do your own DD. But again, I like the stock. It's doing very good, and I think it will continue doing very good. That's going to wrap up this video. If you got anything out of it, hit that sub down below and make sure you smash the thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Have a good one, boys. Namaste. Check.